I don't want to comment on this kind of commentaries. I don't know who is behind that. Let me just say this. This is not the problem of Mr. Netanyahou. This is the problem of the world. Iran has been, let me rephrase it. There are some countries that think that Iran has been refrained, at least partly, by the agreement signed, the JCPOA. We believe otherwise. We believe that you cannot isolate the JCPOA, one agreement, and not look at the whole picture. And the whole picture is of a growing influence and menace of Iran in the Middle East. And it is not something that only Israel says. It is something that also many Gulf countries say, and many other countries in the Middle East that are interested in having stability. Iran is a cause of instability. Iran is also developing other elements of a nuclear program. It's not just the nuclear materials by themselves, but if we look at the missile program of Iran, I think it is something that menaces not just Israel, but the whole world. And these days when we have, or the world faces a defiance by North Korea, and there is a big danger to the existing order in this sense, then I think the world should be much more careful also when dealing with Iran.
Do you think that the Palestinian fractions, Fatah and Hamas, are going to reconciliation? Because as I think tomorrow they have to...
I'm smiling because this date has already been postponed. As I heard this morning that the Egyptians suggested, after having a long meeting yesterday, that this date be postponed for the 10th of December. And for me, it shows how improbable this is, that a real conciliation should occur. And this is because I think the difference of opinion and the differences of the starting point of Hamas and the Palestinian Authority are so different that I doubt, for example, that Hamas will give up their arms. They are supposed to be one authority, one arm, right?
Yeah.
I really doubt that this can happen. And I think that there are so many internal things and clashes of interests that we will have to wait and see. We are very much aware of the present crisis that Europe is undergoing, and it has different dimensions, the Brexit being, of course, one of them. I think there is a whole debate about the future of Europe. Of course, we are not part of this debate. As I said, we look at Europe as one of our main allies and partners. I think that we might see a time, perhaps a few years, where Europe is much more concentrated on internal issues because of all these challenges that it faces. From the Israeli point of view, Brexit also will have some implications, such as our future relations with Great Britain. We will have to negotiate, when the time comes, bilateral agreements that replace the agreements that we have with the European Union. So for the time being, what Israel is doing, together with Great Britain, I think that each part identifies issues of urgency and of interest for future bilateral agreements. For example, a commercial agreement, which will be very important, an agreement on research and development that will be very important. These are not things that we are signing tomorrow and we are just at the beginning of the work, but this has some kind of an implication.